Okay, here are some backgrounds that are dry. So now I'm going to show you how I add the little background effect that kind of helps it create the overall scene. I just thinned black paint on a small, this is a #1 round brush. This is just another brand that I have. I like the control of the shorter bristles when I do this. And not quite dead center of the piece, maybe a little below or a little above, depending on what you think you're going to add to the foreground of it. And it's just a little off center, so it doesn't have to be like exact. What I do is I come in and I start creating what would look like or be a little land mass in the distance. So I'm going to create the kind of the shoreline for the other side, and then I just dabble on what would look like distant trees. I mean, you can go so far as to paint things that look like buildings and structures and whatnot, but I've only done that a couple of times because I just create the effect that I need, because the silhouette that I add, or silhouette scene that I add in the foreground, is really the emphasis, you know, on the piece. And so just get some, and for some of the trees, you might want some of the sky to show through. And then basically that's kind of it. That one looks pretty good to me. Then I forgot to put any white paint out. I take a little bit of white because I've already got yellow in the background, so I actually do a lot of this with the white. And there again, this doesn't have to be dead center of the scene, because sometimes when you take a picture of a sunset or with the what's supposed to look like the sun setting in the background, it's not going to always be, you know, head on dead center. So I usually have it either a little to the right or a little to the left, and I create what would be my sunset. And then I just come in with just barely any paint on the tip of the brush and create what would be the little water lines and reflection from the sunset. And you don't have to do this. I just think it adds a little, like, ambiance, for lack of better words, to the overall scene. And then here I've cut some black silhouette pieces out. I'm not going to glue anything down right this minute because I've got too much other stuff here on the table. But just to kind of give you an idea, like here is a piece. I would get 2 grass, you know, borders out of this one because the die was so long. And then you could add like the tall water bird. And then if you wanted to look like one that was flying in, I should have gotten my tweezers and I forgot to get them off the other table. And just something as simple as that. There's your scene. And it's so dramatic looking, you know, once you get it all in place. And it's just the way that I like to do things. Then, like this one, for example, if you wanted to do more of a meadow-looking scene, you wouldn't do the background of like land or anything for the distance. You could just come in with a simple tree, and then, oh goodness gracious, a taller grass die, and then you could have a little bird coming in from the other side. Come on, little bird. And with this one, I would add, this was a die, I think I got it on Amazon, but I just liked these varying little flower looks. And you could come in and add a few of these coming up out of the the grasses to kind of balance the sides and just give a little more visual interest. So that's pretty much how I do them. So I'm going to finish working on the rest of these and then show y'all how I actually attach some of the silhouette parts.